This is Jonathan Cahn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. When you look at what's happening in the world, it's easy to wonder what's going on, and are things out of control? Is this what the Bible foretold? Is the end near? What do I need to know about the future? Where's it all going? How can I be prepared? What is God's prophetic word for the hour and for me? On this channel, you're going to find prophetic updates, the mysteries of God, daily words for life, biblical revelation, prophetic teachings, and much more. I pray it's going to be a great blessing to you in the days ahead. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time there's a new video that's posted. Leave a comment as to how God is blessing you. And don't forget to share these videos with friends who need to hear them. Thanks again, and God bless you. Shalom. Foreseen in the spiritual realm, where God himself moves decisively among his people. This separation is not about denominations, titles, or church attendance. It is about the unveiling of hearts. Many who have called themselves believers will be forced to confront the true state of their faith, and many who have lived quietly, faithfully, and righteously will find themselves suddenly illuminated in the sight of heaven. God will no longer allow his remnant to be hidden on this day. A line will be drawn, not visible to human eyes, but unmistakable in the Spirit. The chosen will feel it. It may come in the form of conviction, awakening, a sudden shift in go along. Their loyalty to Christ has been tested, and they have passed. Now that loyalty will be publicly honored by God in his own way. This separation will not look like judgment to the world, but it will be a powerful spiritual transition. Some chosen ones will begin to feel a new level of clarity about their identity and purpose. They may suddenly lose tolerance for things they used to allow. Relationships may shift. Environments that once felt comfortable may become oppressive. Feel the weight of this separation in a different way. They may sense the Spirit lifting or feel a loss of favor and influence. This is not to shame them, but to awaken them. June 6 will act like a divine checkpoint, a moment when the wheat and tares begin to be distinguishable, not by outward actions alone, but by inward posture. It will not be about who has achieved more, but who has surrendered more. The hidden things will be brought into light, and hearts have felt invisible in past seasons, overlooked, even mocked or dismissed. But what the world could not see, heaven has been watching. And now, heaven begins to respond. As the separation continues in the spiritual realm, some will be drawn closer to others they've never met, forming unexpected alliances, rooted not in church programs, but in This separation is not an end, but a beginning, a commissioning into the next stage of God's plan. On June 6, 2025, the chosen will not be elevated for their sake, but for the sake of the kingdom. The world may not immediately recognize what is shifted, but in the spirit realm, it will be undeniable. Heaven will mark them, hell will notice them, and the earth will begin to respond to them in ways that reflect the authority they now carry. To those who are spiritually attuned, and this date marks such a moment. The veil that has clouded discernment for many will be lifted. What was once difficult to interpret will become suddenly clear. Scriptures that seemed routine will now pulse with new life. Prophetic dreams will increase in frequency and intensity. And visions will be given not just to the known prophets, but to everyday believers whose hearts are yielded and expectant. To hidden truths, such as unspoken motives in relationships, unseen spiritual dynamics in communities, and the real intentions behind cultural or political movements. It will feel as if a spiritual lens has been placed over the eyes of the chosen, allowing them to see beyond the natural and into the purposes of God. Their perception will sharpen, not through logic or intellect, but through divine revelation. This outpouring is not limited to the individual level. There will be collective revelation, shared understandings across regions and nations that align perfectly, despite coming to different people in separate contexts. These revelations will begin forming a divine map, pointing to what God is doing globally. Pockets of believers will begin connecting through mutual visions and confirming messages, creating a prophetic unity that does not rely on organizational structures. This will challenge traditional methods of communication and hierarchy in the church, as the Spirit bypasses institutional filters to speak directly to the willing and available. Will sense divine interruptions in their daily lives, moments of stillness, sudden emotional shifts, or even physical signs that mark the presence of the Spirit trying to communicate. All of these will be part of the outpouring, and those who are sensitive and surrendered will recognize it as such. This revelation is also a form of empowerment. With greater insight comes greater responsibility. The chosen will not be given revelation for their own satisfaction or private understanding, but coupled with obedience will bring transformation. What makes this moment different is not just the intensity of the revelation, but its divine origin and strategic timing. This is not the result of study or intellectual pursuit. It is the fruit of relationship and preparation. Those who have cultivated intimacy with God in secret will find that their time in the hidden place has not been wasted. They will now be entrusted with insight that others cannot comprehend. It will not be flashy or loud, but it will be precise, piercing, and transformative. This outpouring will also have heard directly from the throne of God. This authority will not be self-proclaimed, but recognized by others through the undeniable fruit of truth, clarity, and divine presence that flows from the chosen. On June 6, 2025, a divine trigger will initiate a global realignment, one that repositions chosen Christians within a rapidly shifting world. This realignment is not simply about physical geography or political changes. It is a spiritual reordering that will place God's people in positions of strategic influence, both visible and hidden. In this realignment, many believers will sense a sudden change in their environment. Some may find doors closing unexpectedly, while others will be pulled into unfamiliar places and roles they never anticipated. These shifts will not be comfortable, but they will be purposeful. Chosen Christians will begin to understand that their placement is not about personal comfort, career advancement, or social status, but about assignment. Their presence in specific locations, workplaces, cities, families, industries, will be the result of divine intent, where they live, who they speak to, popularity, but through spiritual authority. They will be the ones who carry solutions, wisdom, and courage when others falter. In contrast, some who have relied on titles or past success may find their influence fading. This is not about humiliation, but rebalancing. God is reassigning spiritual authority to those who are aligned with his heart, not just those who have learned how to perform. At the same time, nations will undergo shaking. Political systems will face instability, alliances will fracture, and institutions want of truth in places that have long resisted it, and for the birthing of movements that will challenge injustice and darkness. In this environment, chosen believers will be given roles that are both prophetic and practical. Some will be called into government, education, technology, media, and finance, not to blend in, but to shift atmospheres. Their presence will carry discernment, and their decisions will reflect divine wisdom, often disrupting systems that have operated in Others will be placed behind the scenes, in roles of prayer, intercession, changes, and not every chosen believer will feel ready, but readiness will not be the qualification, obedience will. Those who say yes, even when it costs them familiarity or comfort, will find themselves walking in a new level of clarity and provision. Resources will begin to flow, not just to individuals, but through them, as chosen Christians are entrusted with kingdom wealth, ideas, and influence for purposes far beyond themselves. This divine realignment is ultimately about positioning the body of Christ to function as it was meant to. Strategic. On June 6, 2025, a significant spiritual event will occur among chosen Christians, one that involves the unseen yet powerful impartation of a spiritual mark or seal. This mark is not physical, nor is it something that can be detected by human senses. It is a heavenly affirmation, a divine commissioning that identifies those who are truly aligned with the purposes of God in this critical hour. This mark will not be a symbol of status, but of assignment. It will signal to both the spiritual and natural realms that these individuals have been occurred until they begin to notice a change in how they perceive, operate, and interact with the world around them. Their spiritual authority will deepen. Their words will begin to carry weight. Their prayers will cut through resistance, and their discernment will increase dramatically. This mark will also come with divine backing. Doors that were previously locked will begin to open, not because of effort, but because of alignment. But once required striving will now flow. These individuals will not move in their own strength, but in the delegated power of heaven. This mark of commission is also a sign of maturity. It will not be given lightly. Acceptance and holiness over compromise. They have walked through wilderness seasons, endured pruning, and remained faithful, even when nothing made sense. The seal is not a reward for performance, but a recognition of trustworthiness. Heaven is declaring that these individuals can now carry more responsibility, more insight, more burden for others, and more influence that must be stewarded with humility. Those who receive this spiritual seal will often feel a shift in their atmosphere. Some may experience a heightened sense of spiritual activity, dreams that carry with their assignment. As this happens, chosen Christians will begin to walk in greater clarity, with a renewed sense of direction and holy fear. This commission is not just for personal transformation, it is for kingdom deployment. The sealed will be used by God to speak into crisis moments, confront systems of injustice, minister healing to the broken, and proclaim truth with boldness and compassion. They will operate in multiple arenas, not limited to the church, but sent into education, business, politics, and the arts. Their presence will carry the atmosphere. Warfare may follow, but so will increased angelic activity and divine protection. The seal acts like a divine signature, authorizing chosen Christians to move forward despite opposition. It is heaven's endorsement and heaven's empowerment. They will be sustained supernaturally in seasons where others fall away. They will receive instruction at just the right moment, provision when it seems impossible, and divine connections that accelerate their purpose. The seal does not make life easier, but it makes obedience unstoppable. As chosen Christians step into their divine commission, beginning on June 6, 2025, they will also enter a season of intensified opposition and testing. Discourage, confuse, isolate, or delay them. These attacks may not always appear as obvious spiritual warfare. They may come subtly through strained relationships, financial pressure, emotional fatigue, or an increased sense of loneliness. However, behind the visible circumstances will be a spiritual agenda aimed at pulling them out of alignment with their calling. For many, the testing will begin internally. Thoughts of self-doubt, unworthiness, or exhaustion may surface as the weight of the new commission becomes real. Past wounds may reemerge. Faith will move from theory to reality. What was once belief will become unshakable conviction. Increased opposition may also take the form of misunderstanding. Some chosen Christians will face criticism from unexpected sources, including family, friends, or even fellow believers. The very people they once walked with may begin to question their motives or resist the changes they see. This isolation will not be accidental. It will be a divine pruning that separates, begin to operate in greater authority. The pressure to constantly pour out, lead, or intercede may feel overwhelming. Some may feel a heavy burden to fix broken systems or carry the weight of others' struggles. However, God will use this to teach them the rhythm of rest and replenishment. They will learn that supernatural strength does not come from striving, but from abiding. Intimacy with God will not be optional. It will be the source of their survival. From that secret place, they will draw wisdom, peace, and fresh perspective them through it. The pressure will not crush them. It will shape them. What once would have taken them out will now become the very thing that sharpens their discernment and deepens their spiritual authority. This testing will ultimately produce in the chosen an unshakable resilience. They will become immovable, not because of natural strength, but because of the deep work the Spirit has done within them. Their joy will be rooted in purpose, not circumstances. Their peace will not depend on external stability, but on adversity. The chosen will walk through fire, but they will not be consumed. They will face battles, but they will not be defeated. Instead, they will emerge as refined vessels, trusted with more because they endured more, and prepared to lead others through the very storms they have overcome. On June 6th, 2025, a powerful release of divine assignments will be activated in the lives of chosen Christians. These assignments will not be vague spiritual ideas or generalized encouragement. These roles may vary widely. Some will be sent to rebuild broken communities, others to lead quietly in families, some to stand in intercession, and others to carry out bold public missions. Yet each assignment will be infused with eternal significance. For many, the clarity they've long prayed for will come swiftly. Things that once seemed uncertain or out of reach will suddenly fall into place. Instructions will come in dreams, in prayer, in conversation, and even through unexpected circumstances. These assignments will align perfectly with the character and capacity. These assignments will also require faith to walk out. Not everything will be revealed at once. God will give just enough instruction to move forward, and then he will reveal more along the way. The chosen will have to move even when they feel unqualified, underprepared, or unsure of the full picture. But with every step of obedience, provision will follow. Doors will open that were previously sealed. Divine appointments will occur with those they need to meet. Finances, resources, and favor will appear at the exact time they are needed, not because the individual is longer as victims of past pain, but as vessels of restoration. In every case, the assignment will stretch them. It will demand not just action, but transformation. They will have to let go of fear, comfort, and sometimes even their own plans. The urgency of the time will not allow for hesitation. The Spirit will make it clear that the window for certain moves is open, and those who delay may miss what is uniquely appointed to them. These kingdom assignments will also be deeply interconnected. Though given individually, they will work a network of aligned believers across the globe who are not just fulfilling personal purpose, but advancing strategic pieces of a larger prophetic puzzle. As the assignments are released, the chosen will experience a new level of accountability. This is not a season for casual Christianity or passive participation. What is entrusted must be guarded, stewarded, and multiplied. They will be held responsible not only